Bruce. Jan, what is House Bill 2260 and what are your thoughts on it? That's just kind of a general question for all 6 questions.
Okay, there's 6 note cards that ask questions on House Bill 2260. It's called an act concerning civil procedure relating to the exercise of religion is the act. Several of these questions say, why did I chair it? And I am the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee. I don't know if it refers to that. That doesn't mean that I'm chairman. It means that if, in the unlikely event, although I would see it as a welcome situation that the Democrats take control of the House again, I would potentially be the chair there in the committee. My first year in the legislature was in '92, and that was the time the Democrats were in control of the legislature. But like I say, I'd be thrilled if we got control again, but it doesn't happen too often in Kansas. That was only the 2nd time the Democrats have been in control of the House. If the question was, are you a co-sponsor? I was not. It was introduced as a Judiciary Committee bill last year, and I didn't make a request for it. I was not a co-sponsor on it. We've had long hearings, very long hearings on that bill in the House Judiciary Committee. Last year, it was tabled in that committee on a fairly close vote. And again, as the Republicans are in the majority in that committee, some of them joined in tabling with some of the Democrats on it. It's called exercise of religion. What it does basically is it says that in Kansas, since we have a civil rights law in Kansas that protects certain groups such as minorities, people under religious questions, prevents discrimination against an individual due to their gender, protects discrimination due to age-based, etc. The rights that are protected under the Kansas Civil Rights Law are protected in the state. It then provides that if it's a right concerning individuals other than those that are in that protected class by the state, that if someone has a religious belief that is in conflict with certain beliefs that are not protected under the Kansas Civil Rights Act, then at that point, the person could, say an employee didn't want to hire someone who was, in this case, for example, a cross-dresser, because that's part of the testimony that's been presented. If someone had a religious belief, they had a business that they felt that they did not want to have that person, or due to their sexual orientation, didn't want to hire them on basis of a religious belief, then at that point, that person could raise their religious belief in a defense on litigation. Now, what it really comes into, although the people that were opposed to the bill weren't very clear in their opposition, the concern is for certain groups that sexual orientation is a protected group under the law in Douglas County. It was a protected group. Sexual orientation, gay, lesbian, transgender, and I've looked at that ordinance, but I don't have it with me. There's a whole list of cross-dressing was covered, I think, in the Manhattan ordinance that was then repealed. But anyway, it basically comes down to a statement in the bill that if this law were passed on the exercise of religion, that people could bring up their religion as a reason that they did not want to follow the ordinance in, for example, Hutchinson, Hutchinson's had the ordinance discussed here, but as far as I was thinking, Lawrence came in and they had that ordinance. So that's what it is. It does not condone any protection by your exercise of religion regarding discrimination towards people of another religion, race, etc. So it's got a lot of attention, and as I said, we have had a lot of testimony on it. The questions also are, why would you want to help with a bill that would allow discrimination? I think the question is personal belief as far as religion that you have, should that be trumped by forcing people to then support a lifestyle that they don't support due to their religion as far as hiring? If you don't want to have someone in an apartment in your house, the question is, in Lawrence, you would be compelled to rent to a group that shared an orientation that you didn't believe, or if you didn't want to have them employed by your business. So it's obviously a complicated question. I think at this point, I've supported the Kansas Civil Rights Act. Don't think people should be allowed discrimination based on religion, race, etc. that's in the Kansas Act. At this point, Kansas has not chosen to put sexual orientation, cross-dressing, transgender, etc. into our Civil Rights Act. So that's where the bill's at. I support the Kansas Act prohibiting discrimination. Don't live in Lawrence anymore. Used to when I was in law school at KU. And I don't think an ordinance should trump other people's religious rights that are protected by the state Civil Rights Act. So if there's other comments other people want to make, I would guess that a lot of the panel would probably support this bill too. The status is if it gets worked, it has to be worked before turnaround. So Monday will be the last day that the committee can work it if it gets worked.
Any other comments from other panel members on that bill? Mike O'Neill, Speaker Mike O'Neill, you commented in your opening remarks about the first